everybody, it's me again, Kenny K, bringing you a new fun flick to review, which is The Last Shark, aka The Great White. This movie came out in 1980s, but then it of course got sued by Universal because it's just a blatant copy of Jaws, and they only could distribute it in Europe. So a lot of Americans that wanted to see the movie, they had to buy like a German version or a French version, hoping that it has English language options on. Usually they do have English, French, English, German, and then English, French, German subtitles and things like that. So, but this movie is actually not a bad movie. It's a fun movie. It's basically a movie about also a beach community, Amity, right? And they're holding a regatta, but a regatta with these. I'm not sure how to call those boogie boards with those sails on. You know, and they're holding this regatta, but of course a shark attacks a guy that is practicing, and you see a bite of his boogie board is bitten out, and then he gets toppled in the water, and then he's taken down and he dies, and nobody sees him, but they find the piece of the boogie board. And then you get the two main characters. James Franciscus plays Peter Bannon, best known as Peter Benchley. And Vic Morrow plays Ron Hammer, who is basically the quint of the movie. Also, he talks more with a Scottish accent instead of Quint with an Irish accent, because he's from Ireland. And we've got our mayor here is Mayor William Wells. Now this guy wants to become governor, so he's campaigning, so he really needs the beaches open. Now this guy isn't that bad. He does a lot of things to prevent the shark attacking people. But first of all, so they find that boogie board. They eventually find a boat somewhere that's been, attacked from the hull, and it's filled with water in the hull, and they find a bitten off just an arm, and they say that then they have this meeting with townspeople and fishermen, and then of course the mayor, and then James Franciscus being it's weird that he's involved in this. He's just a writer, and he's trying to he's the spokesman for catching this shark. He's saying, and giving information of the shark, he's saying this is we think it's great whites. They are not that common here in our waters. They're like they do attack people, and then, come on, Ron, you can say it better than me. And then he goes around like, it's a great white we're dealing hit with. You're never gonna underestimate it. You look from the torso to the head, the weak spots around the dorsal fin and around the eyes. Never look a white shark in the eyes. It will turn over white, bite you. I can say goodbye. Now, as long as shark is here, he will keep feeding and feeding and feeding. So we gotta kill him before anything more can happen. So that's actually his Quint uh, version of when Quint says to the townspeople, "I'll find him for 3,000, but I'll kill him and catch him for 10." You know, when he scratches the board in the town's hall. You know, that's basically his version. Now Vic Morrow, I'm not really sure what the guy does. He's a diver, that's for sure. He has a boat with like this, a sheet cover over it. Like divers, usually a boat that goes out with divers. A guy has diving experience. Now, apparently, James Franciscus has also diving experience. And for an author, he has a lot of experiences. And, but Ron, Victor Morrow, he's also in Humanoids from the Deep, Victor Morrow. He decides to. These two are actually good actors. They work well together. They're friends together. You don't want to see them die. You don't want to see them hurt. You, you know. Even the mayor, you have sympathies with the mayor because he decides to net the entire area where the regatta is held with patrol ships and buoying, so you can see the buoyings. But through all avail, it's fruitless because the shark rips through the nets, and eventually, it goes in the area where the regatta is, and then you see all these guys on these boogie boards going down, 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 and you have this judge, who's on his boat with a megaphone, with a small boat. Hey, what's happening here? What are you doing? That's not allowed. And then you see, boom, it's like the shark attacks him from beneath the water, just bumps against the boat, and it explodes. It's like his bump is an explosion. You see a puppet, clearly a puppet falling in the water. Then he's the guy in the water, and then you see the shark's head. I have to say, for such a low budget movie, they had two sharks, a full size one, which looks like a squeegee puppet you use, in a rubber squeegee puppet you use in a bathtub for kids, and then of course the head. The head does look good, has rows of teeth, and has that snub nose like the great white has, and he, falls with his jaws on the judge, and he dies. Now, of course, the mayor is now really livid, and he is also, livid and sad because it's because of him. It cost him lives. People died under his watch. He's also livid because he's wanting to become governor, and of course he's campaigning at this moment, and that doesn't look good. And his son hears that, and at some point they, he wants to help him, but first we go to James Franciscus and Vic Morrow, Ron and Peter. They go underneath water, or try with Vic uses same like in Jaws Reed. The British guy, used Mills bombs or something, which are grenades basically. But he uses like what looks like C4, but it's in his. He says it's dynamite. So he has this belt on with this controller. But I always think to myself, what the fuck are you gonna do with that? Because even with the Mills bombs, you have the gravity the dense gravity of the water, you can't throw in water. If you throw, it's like, oh, you're like this, and then boom, you die. The only way you can use those things is like those deep diving bombs they used in the Second World War to destroy U-boats, submarines, those canisters, and they go underwater for a few seconds and then boom against the submarine, and that's spotting the shark from above the highest point of the ship, and then throwing grenades, throwing dynamite, throwing whatever that explodes to it, and then you can kill it. But he puts that belt on, and they have these boomsticks, like spear gun, but with a shotgun bullet on, and they dive and they get attacked, and they swim in this cave, this underwater cave, and the shark is smart enough to break the cave, and they collapse. The cave collapses in, so they can't get out. And then you see how fake the shark looks, but still, it's a fun time. The story, it's the story. You got good actors, and that makes up for a whole lot of things. And the head of a shark looks actually pretty well, and the story isn't that bad. If ever Jaws would be remade, this is the remake, in my opinion. This is the remake. It's well done, and for the low budget, and especially for the crap they got, because they wanted to advertise it in the United States, and it costed more than the movie itself, double its budget, by advertising it in the United States because of the legal issues. So this is okay. It's just now became legal, I think. In any case, I'm gonna give you a link. It's on YouTube. Always try to give the links to the movies. You just copy and paste them on Google or Google search. You don't even need to go to YouTube, just Google search, and it goes automatically to that movie. It's easy. You don't have to type things in. You don't have to look yourself. It's usually, and I always use legal sites, so nothing pirating. I only pirate with fan edits, and that's because these movies like Friday the 13th Part 7 New Blood was cutted so much that's just complete madness. So these are the guys who will give you the edits, like an Alien edit of 3 hours long, 3 fucking hours long. So you ask them, and they give you the link, and you can download it. I'll never give that to my viewers because I don't want to do that. I don't want to get with problems. I always do it the legal way. So I'm gonna put this movie also in the link in a legal way. But again, so they use a dynamite to get out of the cave. Get out of the cave. Now apparently the son of Mayor Wells takes his small yacht, and they have this box with like entrails or fish heads or whatever, and they have this steel pipe and a rope, and they put the thing on, and they have a big shotgun, and their plan is to lure it to the bait and shoot it. Now when Vic and Peter were attacked, they shot 2 boomstick shotgun bullets into his head, and it still kept coming, so it didn't help a thing. So that shotgun is not gonna help shit, jack shit. And what they're doing is so stupid. So they're like with a fishing rod, they're dumping it in the water like this, and then you see stock footage of real sharks eating the bait. Now, even if you have three guys keeping it, it's not connected to something. It's just loose. So it's loose. It's not connected. The only thing that's holding it there is three guys holding it, and even with three guys, a shark has the power to bite through steel, flat steel metal. So you can't hold it. It's just stupid. And then the shark, and they shoot at it, and then the shark comes back and attacks the boat. A girl falls in the water, who apparently is the daughter of Peter, and they almost get her out in the nick of time, but the shark bites her leg off, one leg. So they come on water, and the first thing Mayor Wells does is slap the shit out of his son, and what happens then is something that Wells is out for revenge. Now he has this also a cooler with a lot of bait in, and he has his private helicopter. Now I am not sure what he was going to do. He uses a winch, put the bait on, get it in the water. They spot the shark. There he is. Boom. Now the shark attacks the bait, but the chopper can't hold it. It's like a 2 or 3 ton shark. What I think he had to strategize a little bit. I think he had to strategize a little bit, fella, because that's not a good idea. Because I think his idea was pulling him out of the water and suffocating him, or pulling him completely out of the water and flying it towards the land, and then have a picture taken with him, and then he becomes governor. But the shark was longer. I mean, they said it was a 25 feet long, so a 6 to 7 meter long shark. It's larger than a helicopter, and the winch, of course, breaks off. Wells falls off. The helicopter does many attempts. He holds on those, the pieces of metal underneath the chopper you can hold on to, and he falls again, and he falls again, and the last time he's bitten, and that's a cool scene. That's the coolest and goriest scene in the movie, in my opinion, is when he bites him in half, and you can see the guts hanging out, and he falls in the water. And then, of course, the chopper gets attacked, and the chopper, like in Jaws 2, is wrecked in the water, and of course, the pilot gets killed too. So, also copied. But I don't care, because a cool scene, a scene that amounts to nothing, because what the hell was he doing? But again, a brave guy, stupid maybe, but brave, and a cool scene. So at this point, Vic and Peter really are angry and want to kill the shark for sure. They know it's around the helicopter wreckage. They go to the helicopter wreckage. They see some floating, and Vic says, "I'm going on in the water alone." And Peter's like, "No, no, no, I want to do it." Because he wants to revenge his daughter. Now, Vic says, "I understand, but I need somebody here on the boat. If things get too hot and heavy, you can take me out and, get away." So, okay, he disgruntledly agrees, sorry. And again with the belt. But the belt, how is it used? The only way you can use that shit is if you're gonna die, if you kamikaze yourself, right? Same with the nose bombs in the Jaws 3. You can't throw. Are you gonna put it in the shark's mouth and then swim away, not thinking the shark will just come after you because the shark is faster in the water than you? I don't understand what they're trying to do with that shit, other than a kamikaze attack, because he didn't have, he had a spear, but it didn't help. just don't understand. And eventually he gets entangled in rope. Peter jumps in the water. Uh, he jumps in the water even when it's said not to, but he tries to help his friend. But then the shark gets entangled in the rope, and you see the shark swimming away with Vic on, with Vic Morrow, Ron on, and he drowns. Basically, that's the story. Like Ahab and Moby Dick, with spearing Ahab, and he gets roped to the leg. The original death of Quinn, by the way, the original death of Quinn in the book, by the way, and he suffocates. So boring. But then they're holding this. They have this shark hunting expert with a sort of a shotgun with explosive shells. Now I think that would work. It has explosive tip shells. Now the shark, there's this camera guy who's acting like a dick. He wants to see people killed so he can win a Pulitzer Prize or something. And his coworker, he is on the pier, and he basically hangs some meat underneath the pier. So the shark attacks the pier, breaks the pier off. The hunter is on it. He loses his gun in the water. My gun's in the water. My gun's in the water. He dies. He falls in the water. The camera guy, the second camera guy, he falls in the water. They pull him out. But they only pull out half of him. So he dead. And then eventually Peter sees this, and he sees Ron's body, Vic Morrow's body, on the pier, and the shark takes it, and you see the head of the shark coming out of the water, and with Ron, Vic in his like in a rainbow form in his jaws, and that was originally the death of Hooper, and scripted in the movie of Spielberg, that the shark would take Hooper, his head out of the water, and show Hooper his dead, lifeless body as a trophy. But of course, he has all those explosives on, and Peter just in the nick of time took the remote for the bombs away, and he does this heroic slow-mo crazy jump. I don't know why he does that, because okay, and for effect, pushes the button, and the shark explodes, and you see the shark exploding in half, from the middle in half, which is weird because the bombs they're all on his head, but it's a cool effect. I'll buy it. And then when everything is said and done, the camera guy goes in Peter's face. He punches the guy, he digs the guy, big asshole, and he just drives away, and that's the end of the movie. But the movie it's a fun movie, it's a cheesy movie, it's Italian, so the music isn't always that good, Italian music, so you have this song, so it's not always the best songs, best score, but the actors are pretty good. The Merwells, Peter, Ron, James Franciscus, Vic Morrow, they're actually really good. They have a bond, and even a bond with the mayor. So it was pretty, you like those characters. Didn't want them to die. I was sad to see the mayor die. I was sad to see, because he did everything in his power that he could do, because everybody was pushing him to keep the beaches open. Like Larry Vaughn in Jaws but he didn't do jack shit. He didn't put nets and things like that. This guy used patrol boat nets, and he still failed. And and then Vic Morrow, Ron, tries to kill it, but then dies, stupid way. Of course, he just gets entangled in ropes. But he's a plot point at the end, so he is the hero after all in some ways, and with James Franciscus. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It's a fun watch. Uh, if you like shark movies, if you're a fan of Jaws, you should really watch this one. This is the best rip-off shark movie you're ever gonna see. That's from the early 80s. So enjoy. I hope you like the damn video, and I hope to see you next time. Adios, muchachos.